Welcome to the Quantum Revenue Expansion Podcast. My name is Ursula Inc, and I'm a sales expert, strategic business coach, and USA Today bestselling author. I love sharing strategies that show you exactly how to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. If you're looking to take a quantum leap in your revenue or sales, your team, your productivity, your success, and your life, then you are meant to be here. My goal in every episode is to help you take your belief that it's possible to 2x or 10x your revenue while working way less to knowing that it is happening right now. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast where we talk about turning your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Super excited to be back with you. I'm going to do a solo show today because this has been on my mind a lot lately as I'm working with clients, as I'm growing my own business, and as I look back on my, now almost 2 decades in my own business. Wow, like where has the time gone? One of the things that I think about a lot is why people stay in business and why people stop, why people quit. Like what happens that gets in the way. So today we're going to talk about why failure is your secret path to success. Why failing might be the exact message you need to course correct or make a change. And so we'll get into that because it's so near and dear to my heart. I see business owners, having a failed launch or having something in their business not working out or not getting enough clients. And they do this one thing or they learn this one method and it doesn't work for them. And they take that as, that they're failing, their business is failing. And that's just not the truth. That's not the truth. And so I actually believe that any type of failure is a secret weapon for you. It's showing you your secret path to success. So get ready, get some notes, note-taking devices out, paper, pen, whatever you need. Before we get there though, just a couple of things. There's lots going on in Ursula Inc. in my company right now in terms of behind the scenes shifting. We're going to be launching something really cool. It's going to be coming up in the next month or so. I'm just gauging when this is going to air. And it's really going to be designed for business owners who are looking to significantly grow their profit and work less. So it's deeper, wider than the 2X intensive. It's like the next level of the 2X intensive. So look for that information. That'll be coming out. In the meantime, if you're looking for some extra motivation and a boost in your success, definitely download our Belief Zone Masterclass. Our clients who've done it, they love it. It gives you some immediate shifts. It's zero cost. It's our gift to you. So definitely grab that if you haven't yet. And finally, if you want to participate in one of the last 2X intensives we're going to be running ever, and you're excited about doubling your revenue while shaving 10 or more hours off your work week, go to our show notes. There's a link there and you can send us your information. We'll talk to you about how the 2X intensive could help you as well. It's ursulainc.co/apply. Send us your little bit of information and we'll get you all the details. So there we go. So diving in, and again, why, we're talking about why failure is your secret path to success. When I look back at my journey as a business owner, I don't know how many times I've failed at things. I can't count them anymore. There's so many what society or what other people in business might call failures. And I used to define myself by those failures. I hated failing, right? I in elementary school, high school, I always wanted to be an A student. That's where I really got love, really, honestly. If you look at my childhood, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to school and do well. That's where I get recognition and love and acceptance and all those things. So I was really driven to be an overachiever in that space. And if I got a B or a B plus, I would totally beat myself up. So don't hate me. Yes, I was that person, but I was that person not for the right reasons at all. And then I took that into the corporate world. And, whenever I had a perceived failure, I was just so hard on myself. It was like the world is ending. I failed at this thing. I just had such a fear of failure of looking bad to other people, of being embarrassed, right? Like all of those feelings. And so if you can relate to any of that, today's show is for you, because today I now look at failure very differently, very differently. And I'm not afraid to use the word failure. Like if something didn't work, maybe, it failed, big deal. Like I don't like that word doesn't have a lot of charge for me anymore because I've done a lot of work around it, both personally and professionally. So what does failure really mean? And so I'm gonna give you three steps that can help you turn your failures into financial breakthroughs. I didn't want to title this podcast that though, but that's really what we're going to dig into next is like, how do you turn a failure into not only like an opportunity to learn something, but actually a financial breakthrough? And it's kind of like, how can I use a failure to up level my business and myself into the next thing? How can I actually welcome a failure as information that's going to totally help me in my business? And I'm going to share with you how I do that now, just from the wise mentors who have come before me and who have helped me really embrace this idea of failure and really shift it. So the first step is to understand what failure is and what it is not. Okay. Failure in anything is just information. It's information for you. It's really just that. It's info. So let's take your business, for example, and let's say you create a new course and you put it out there and no one buys it. Okay. Like I'm guessing a lot of you have been there, or fill in course with any service or product. You put it out there and no one buys, or very few people buy, or people are confused, or, whatever it might be. Okay. Or even this, which we've had happen in many different iterations of offerings we've had, where an offering works for a while and then all of a sudden it doesn't anymore. It's like, it doesn't matter what you do. No one's buying that thing anymore. And so you could look at it like, oh, this is failure. Well, no, because people were buying it before and they're not now. So again, it's just information. Failure does not mean you should stop. It does not mean you should burn that course or that product, or it doesn't even mean that it's not good, right? It could be the most amazing product or service on the market, but for some reason, people might not be buying it. Well, we've got to diagnose what's going on there to really figure this out. However, what I see for so many people is that they get stuck. They stop. They think it's about them. They think the product or service isn't up to par, or they think they got to go back and totally redesign the product or service when that might not even be the problem, right? So first, again, when something doesn't work or it looks like a perceived failure, your job as a business owner is to simply gather information. And in my experience, the best way to do that is just to get curious about it. Ask questions. Like, I wonder why people aren't buying this. What are people saying about it? Could I get some feedback from those people? Could I talk to a trusted mentor or coach who could help me with this, right? Who could help me diagnose what's going on? Could I, could I just go through the steps in the process again and maybe see where it didn't work, right? What we're doing is we're looking for information to help us figure this out. And the only way to do that is to get curious and ask questions. So again, the first thing to understand is that failure doesn't mean no. Failure doesn't mean you're supposed to burn it most of the time. It's just like, let's ask some questions. So, you might be thinking about an example in your own business where it feels like something's not working right now. And you might have like labeled it like, this is such a failure, right? Or I'm such a failure. No, you're not. And no, it isn't. We are gathering information. So let's diagnose this. So that's the first step, is my invitation to look at it as neutral. This is just interesting. It's just information. I'm going to get curious and ask questions, right? And then as you're asking questions and answers are starting to come through, you're going to learn something, right? One of my mentors recently said, that either you get the result that you want or you get the lesson. Oh my gosh, what brilliance. And this is from someone who self-proclaimed has failed at many things in the business over the years and has learned to use every one of those failures as opportunities to get the lesson. So once you've gotten the information, right? That was step one. You've gathered the information. Then next is your opportunity to just ask, what's the lesson? What am I meant to learn here? Okay. And when you ask that question, answers will start to come in. I mean, that's one of the most powerful things we can do in business is to ask ourselves open-ended questions, like maybe even write these things down and then write the answers that start to come through and, really understand what the lesson might be. Most of the time, we're being directed or redirected to change something, right? Like it didn't work for a reason, cause and effect. Like why didn't it work? If it didn't work, what am I meant to learn here? And so sometimes it's very practical things, like maybe the marketing funnel didn't work. Maybe the messaging in the copy isn't working, for those of us who sell products online or out in the world. Maybe the ideal client, it's not resonating with the ideal client. Like there's this disconnect there. You really got to look and ask those questions to see where it's not hitting home the way you want it to, because there's wisdom in there. There's wealth, there's information in there, and you'll start to see what can be shifted or changed. And once you understand that, once you see it, boom, you see your next level, either for that product, service, or for your business. When I look back on my business journey, there's just clear times when, an easy way to think about this, when services or offerings that we had they were dead. They didn't fail. They just weren't what our ideal clients wanted anymore. Our ideal clients maybe were over that, or they were going to the next level, or they were asking for someone else or something else, or they were just, wanting a different thing. And I will tell you that I can remember really hesitating on this. You do so much work. I get it. We do so much work in our businesses to create products or services. And sometimes going back to the drawing board, I'm not one of those people who's in constant course creation mode. That is not who I have been. Could I be that? Maybe. It hasn't been a big driver for me. So I love to create programs, courses, coaching programs that really give an impact to our clients that are long lasting. And so when we nail it and our clients are really getting results, I don't love to go back to the drawing board and do it again. I just want this thing to keep working. Well, it doesn't. Over time, our clients outgrow things, right? Our clients want something else. And I intuitively, right, know this. I can feel it. I can feel when things are shifting. I can feel when things we have to build on our suite of products. I'll give you an example in our own business. When the pandemic happened, it was at a very, I will say, opportune time for me in the company because everything stopped, right? But I had heard the whispers before that. I had heard you need to shift, because we'd been offering sales camp for years. Let's face it, sales camp was tired for most of our clients that were already in our community. Now, not to say today, sales camp is a digital course, and we have people who come and ask for it. They want sales camp. It gives them, we include it with the 2X intensive course because people still need sales skills. They still want to learn how to sell. They like our program because we teach how to sell with intention in a way that's really powerful and easy. So it was still needed in our suite of products that our clients could have access to. But overall, as a leading piece, it wasn't what our community was asking for anymore. It involved this. Clients were coming to me saying, I know how to sell. You taught me how to sell, Ursula. I'm good. I know how to sell. What's next? What's next? Our clients have designed our programs. They've designed our next level programs by what they're asking for, by what they're, requesting. So once I knew sales camp was dead, did I make the change right away? Absolutely not. It had to get painful for me. I try to listen better these days. So when the pandemic hit, it was kind of at that spot where sales camps, we still had some sales camps in Minnesota and California. We had them live and in person. Remember those days? Some of you, my listeners, like you came to a live sales camp. We also had in New Mexico. A shout out to my polka dot powerhouse friends there, Barbara Porcelain, who helped bring that into fruition. And, we had them in different pockets in the country because of our amazing partners and clients. And so they were live in person. It's crazy, like when I think about this. And that's before we had a lot of international clients. We have a lot of international clients now. And so being virtual just makes a lot more sense. But I mean, think about that evolution, right? And so the pandemic hits, right? We realize, I remember talking to Rebecca, I'm like, okay, all of our in-person classes are canceled. We all remember that, right? We were shut down for sure. First, we thought it was 2 weeks, then it was 4 weeks. And then I talked to somebody and she said she worked with large corporations. And she said, listen, large corporations like Microsoft at that time and Facebook, like she had her ear on the pulse of what was happening. And she said, not her ear, well, maybe her ear. She had her fingers on the pulse, her ear on the heartbeat of what was happening. And she said, big companies, she said, they're talking about being virtual for 2 years. So she said, that's where we're going to go to. That's where small businesses are going to go. We're just going to have to follow them. And I was like, as much as I did not want to believe her, as much as I wanted to resist that, I kind of knew she was right. And I said to Rebecca, I'm like, listen, everything needs to go virtual. And that's when Zoom was kind of taking off and people started to figure out how to use Zoom. We were figuring it out. I didn't want to use Zoom. I wasn't good at that tech. Like I was like, oh my gosh, it's so complicated. But I listened. We took all of our courses online, our sales camp courses, and we were committed to delivering what people had paid for. We're just going to do it virtually. And our clients were happy with that. They were happy with that. But there was this undercurrent where I could sense was like, people were asking for more. They were asking for different. It's like, okay, I know how to sell. I want something different. And that's when I went to Rebecca and I said, I think it's time to burn Sales Coach Now to the ground. She was like, what? And I said, I'm just getting this intuitive hit. Like, I think it needs to change. It needs to evolve. We're evolving. We're changing. I had been doing a lot of training in other areas. I wanted to bring other things to our clients. I was scaling our business. Our clients, I told Rebecca, I said, our clients are asking for help scaling. Like they want to know how to hire. They want to know who to hire. They want to continue to grow their sales and become more profitable, but they don't want to work all the time. Like that was what we were hearing as well. It's like, Ursula, I know how to sell and I'm delivering, but now I'm like working all the time and I don't want that. So I said, what our clients want, they want to double their revenue, but they want to shave 10 or more hours off their work week. Boom. That became the 2X intensive. The other thing we were hearing is our clients were like, I don't want to do this alone. I feel like a lone ranger. I don't have anybody to talk to. I need community. And during the pandemic, everybody wanted community. And that's why the CEO table was born. And that's where our clients would hang out after the 2X intensive. So they could be in the energy and the container of continued support. And if you've listened to our podcast and heard from our clients, they've gotten incredible results from the 2X intensive leading to the CEO table. Okay. You probably know where this is going, right? So that was the expansion. From there though, like more has evolved, more has expanded. And the CEO table then expanded into breakthrough millions because we had clients who were in the CEO table for a while or a year or two. And they're like, now I want to reach 7 figures. What do you have for us? And I was like, I don't have anything. But then I realized, no, we do. We have breakthrough millions. And then we had multi-million-dollar clients coming to us who said, I need help. Will you help me? They were, still, multi-million, like $3 million companies, for example, coming to us saying, I need something too, which became our Up Level Now program, which is, more of Rebecca and I working intimately with them. So like continue to evolve. Now the market's shifting. It's, people are asking for different things. And that's what I said at the front of this podcast. Like we're expanding what we're going to be offering. So the 2X intensive will still be a thing. It's still going to be one of our courses. It's going to be very helpful, but the next level. So our clients who, for example, they've maybe they've nailed their revenue model. They've doubled their monthly revenue. They've hired, like what comes after that, right? This is next level client who is probably at multi six figures and really wants to go to seven figures like that's what's showing up right now. And so we're working on that next level and what's going to look like for those clients. You can see the evolution. But when I look back at sales camp and I could tell that it was dying, did sales camp fail? No, sales camp was very successful for a long time, but it needed to be parked over here so that certain client could get access to it in a digital format. And then something else had to evolve. If I wouldn't have gotten the lesson though, the lesson being like things are evolving, people are asking for different things. My clients need different things. If I wouldn't have gotten that lesson, right? If I would have missed that, I'd be out of business. And I know coaches who went out of business during the pandemic because it wasn't just me getting that message. It was all of us. Like things needed to change, things needed to evolve, people needed different things. So the third step, so remember the first step was to understand what failure is and what it's not. The second is to really ask, what's the lesson? And then third, based on the lesson that you get, what are you going to do about it? Right? So when you track back from me, once I got the lesson about sales camp, like it was time for it to become a digital course and sit over here, that's when I knew, right? I needed like the next thing. And so for me, I don't like doing stuff by myself. You know, as a coach, it's like, who's my next coach? And my next coach showed up. I hired her and we started to work on the next evolution of the business. And like what was cool is we rebuilt the company in a very short amount of time with completely new offerings. When I look back at that now, I mean, we brought $500,000 in a very short amount of time with all new products and services. And that would not have happened if I hadn't gotten the lesson, right? So again, this is all about really how failure is your secret path to success. And beneath that, how you can really turn what appears to be a failure into a financial breakthrough. Not just like I got the lesson, but like once I get the lesson, what am I meant to create next? What's next? And once you get the lesson, you'll know, like you'll see the steps start to unfold in front of you. And a lot of times it's asking your hand and raising your hand and asking for help. Who can help you right now? Right? Like if you're feeling like something just failed, you're feeling stuck with that, like there's bottlenecks in your company, like raise your hand and get some support. Find that next mentor or coach who can help you. I still love, like my favorite book of 2020 was Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. He talks about the importance of not getting stuck in the how, but asking who can help me? Who can help me? If I resonate with you, and if Rebecca resonates with you, we'd love to help you, right? We're not everybody's coaches. We get that. And we can't help everybody. Lord knows we can't help everybody, right? If we're your coaches though, raise your hand and ask for help. And I'm going to make this really easy. Like, listen, we're having a conversation on the podcast. If you've been thinking for a while, you're like, gosh, I would love to work with Ursula and Rebecca. I don't know how that would look. I'm not sure. Like a lot of people are like, I don't know how I would pay for it. You don't even know, right? Here's what I can tell you is that for the clients who want to work with us, we help them figure out how to pay for it. There's always a way. Like if there's a desire, there's a way. And you don't jump straight into coaching anyway, right? You start with the 2X intensive. You start with that beginning step, and then we go from there. So just email me at ursula@ursulainc.co and just say, I would love to work with you. I don't know what that looks like. I just need help. And here's what I'm stuck with. And either like if I think we can help you, I'll let you know. And if I can't, if I'm not the right fit, because we're pretty niched in terms of, we help mostly service-based businesses who are looking to double their revenue and work less, right? Shave 10 or more hours off their work week. Like if that's your sweet spot of where you need help, that's who we help. So if that's you and you want support, email me. My email will be in the show notes, and I'd love to have a conversation with you, or Rebecca could have a conversation with you about whether or not we can help you and get you those same results. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. I hope this inspires you to look at your quote unquote failures very differently and actually look at them as pathways to really break through your next level of success. Have a great week, everybody. Make this your most epic month yet. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to leave a review on iTunes so I know what you like and can create content that guides you to up-level your business even more. If you want more strategic business tips, follow me on social media. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And you can visit my website at www.ursulainc.co. I love being on this journey with you and can't wait to connect with you on the next episode. In the meantime, make this your most epic month yet.